the second panel discussion on profile-based hiring and their pros and cons. Now, I would like to call Commander Gurumurthy Gangadharan Sir, who is Associate Dean of GIII3V9 Career Guidance Center. I call panelists of this discussion Professor Vamshita Sir, Head of the Department, Computer Science and Engineering, to represent the academic fraternity. Dr. Sheetal Kumar Sir, to represent the Placement Officer fraternity. Mr. Benjamin Samuel, Recruitment Consultant, Early Talent Hiring, SAP Labs. And Mr. Parthivan Bhavani Shankar Sir, Engagement Lead, APJ Global Outreach and Engagement, ServiceNow. And Mr. Karthik, Principal Talent Acquisition, Recruiter, University Relation Informatica. Mr. Arun Jayendra, Partner Group Engineering, Manager of Microsoft. ಹೇಗೆ ಇರು ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಇರು ನೀ ಎಂದೆಂದಿಗೂ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬಾಗಿರು. ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡಿತಿ ಸರ್, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. Now, I hand over the session to the moderator, Commander Gurumurthy Gangadharan Sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. After the first round of discussions, I thought I would request Sriram to continue because he's done such a wonderful job that I was not sure whether I would be able to do justice, but I'll try to emulate his standards. I'm going to continue from where the chief guest and the dignitary spoke about and where did the first panel discussion end. That is niche hiring. They were talking about hiring. I don't know how many of you are aware, when I was in college time, that is 4 decades back, the corporate used to come to the campuses asking for science graduates, engineering graduates, mechanical, civil engineering graduates. That is stream-based hiring. The streams were getting filled as per the corporate opportunities available for that particular stream. Thereafter, it changed over. From stream-based hiring, it went on to, say, profile-based, project-based hiring. That we have got this project, can we get this kind of a talent? Even if a mechanical engineering student is able to experiment with IoT, probably he would be recruited into an IoT project kind of a thing. Then we heard about job profile-based hiring. That is the recent trend where the corporate tell us that these are the different types of profiles that are available, shows the talent pool so that we'll train them during their 4x2 and put them on projects as and when they graduate and come to us. Now we heard a term, the first panel discussion, that's called niche hiring, where they are looking for certain talent. On the other hand, there are platforms which are saying that we are ready to train the 10+2 students and then take them for the skill set, put them through a college program in our campus, say Music My University, I'm just quoting it for an example, where a youngster is able to do projects. So the topic for this panel discussion is the pros and cons of profile-based hiring. On the other side, when we speak to the engineering institutions which I represent, they say that we are here to produce a white rice in a buffet. The graduate is like a white rice. You add coconut to it, he'll become coconut rice. Add jaggery to it, he'll become sweet rice. Add curd to it, he'll become curd rice. In the sense that they'll be able to serve the flavor that is demanded by the corporate. Where do we stand as education institution? Do we need to prepare white rice or prepare coconut rice and give it to the corporate? This is the question. I hope you are able to get the parallel that I'm drawing between. I'm good in cooking, that's why I'm able to draw that. I'm saying that whether you want to serve white rice or coconut rice, but the thing is whether we want to give a mechanical engineer or a mechanical engineer who's good in IoT for a particular niche hiring that is being demanded by a particular project. That's a topic for the discussion. We've got a series of interesting panelists with us. It's my privilege to introduce one of the panelists have joined us on the stage because we were running short of space on stage for the inaugural session. It is my privilege to welcome Dr. Sheetal Kumar, who is the President of Maharashtra Training and Placement Association, in short, MATPO. May I have the honor of introducing him to the rest of the panelists. I'm going to start with Karthik sir. hiring patterns have evolved from stream specific to industry specific to project specific to job profile specific to niche hiring. Now, how do we prepare the students for this kind of a hiring? Our aim is to produce an engineer or a generic engineer or a niche hiring requirement based engineer. That's my question to you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. First of all, thanks for having me, sir. I think, yeah, we have seen engineering colleges. I think wherever, if you probably drive 20 kilometers, you'll probably see 2 engineering colleges, right? We see a lot of engineers everywhere, but the quality of the engineers, when we interview, right? So I think we are spending a lot of time as recruiters. That's been our problem, frankly speaking. The reason for that is we see a lot of things in the resume, but you see a lot of high-level things that are mentioned on the resume, but there is nothing that is that's there in the depth. So there's something called as T-shaped learning, right? So a lot of people are learning in breadth, but I think depth is what we are looking for as organizations. So that's one area that is missing at this point of time. You see machine learning, you see a lot of jazzy words on the resume, but there is no depth in terms of when we interview these students. So that's one thing that was missing. And when we really talk about niche, these are the things that we look at when you think from a product company perspective. We look at a lot of things. But this is where the students, I think, students need to probably, they should probably focus on few things. As engineers, I think, they would have touched upon computer fundamentals, computer basics and things like that. But if they probably look at, some skills, at least if they can pick up 4 skills by the end of the engineering, I think they'll be mostly ready for the industry. For any organization for that matter, not only for product companies, but for across the industry, right? So they'll definitely be okay for that. So that's what my say is, sir.
I've got a branch of question. You just mentioned about the resume. How do we add value to the resumes?
I think people should be upfront in terms of whatever they know is what they should probably be able to justify whatever they've mentioned in the resume. They should be talking about that in depth. That's what we look for in a resume. So I think that's what we look for as recruiters.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. For the student community, you need to understand that GIII3V9 University is the pedestal on which you are all standing or sitting right now. Till the time you are in GIII3V9 University, you will be sitting in an AC auditorium. Career Guidance Center will get the resources to come and talk to you into pre-placement talk, interviews, etc. The moment you move out of GIII3V9, even to get an appointment from any one of these dignitaries who are present here, you're going to take weeks. My humble request is, please pay attention to what they are saying. If possible, note down, take key takeaways, implement them in your own resumes, etc., so that you are successful in your respective journey. This kind of an opportunity comes only once in a year. Thank you. Okay, having heard about how to prepare a resume and what does an industry look for in an aspiring candidate, my next question is going to be to Mr. Samuel Benjamin. The focus of campus drives have always been types of selection process. The moment we announce a recruitment drive, the students ask, what are the different types of recruitment process? Is there an aptitude test? Is there a pre-placement talk? Is there a technical assessment? Is there a technical interview, managerial interview, HR interview? Interviews wise, we are very, very clear what kind of interviews you are going to conduct. Group decisions are also clear. But the assessment that are being conducted are undergoing a sea change, in the sense that earlier we used to have subject-specific assessments as brought out by Sir, in-depth knowledge whether the student is having or not. Thereafter, we moved on to employability skills assessment, the second part of what he spoke about. Is he fit enough to be in my corporate? Now, we are talking about KSA matrix, knowledge, skills, abilities kind of a matrix. Recently, we have come to know that it is going to be competency-based assessment for the student community. On one hand, we are asking or we are requesting our academic fraternity to transfer the knowledge in terms of the theoretical knowledge, depth knowledge that Sir spoke about. On the other hand, we are preparing them for the corporate opportunities being brought by this galaxy. Now, what kind of assessments are relevant and what is going to be the future? If you could throw some light, it would help the young audience to take some notes.
Check. Great. So, from the assessment point of view, like you rightly said, it's been ever evolving. I've worked in a service and now in a product company. The way we have looked at assessments for each of the students has gone from basic aptitude, which was earlier quantitative questions, to now having coding questions which assess students' level of, for example, all of the students here, this is for you. When we are writing down a particular line of code, if you are editing that particular line of code multiple times, that gets detected, which shows consistency level of your knowledge in that code. So like Karthik rightly said, in case you're writing a code and you say that in your resume, I'm great at Python. But when you're writing that given problem, you're re-editing or you're rerunning the code multiple times because of bugs, it shows inconsistency in your performance. So like the assessments are evolving. Earlier we used to look at A, B, C, which answer you've selected. If you selected the right answer, you've cleared. If you've selected the wrong answer, you've failed. Now, every click on the mouse or the cursor that you make determines your pattern behaviors. You can come into the competency part. Just on the lines of what you started off talking, for all the students so that you relate to it, Sir was telling that we are talking about either giving coconut rice or normal rice. Today in the industry, in very layman term, I'm explaining this to you. Imagine if you're going to a normal Andhra restaurant, you're given rice and sambar. Today our expectations have gone from you're getting rice and sambar, it's also good to have dessert along with it. So your dessert is what additional competencies are you bringing along with you in the table when it comes to an interview process. So that's the answer to it. Thanks.
Amazing answer, sir. I think this answer deserves a round of applause. Why I'm saying this is we have invited him for the event. Had he come to me on a normal day, I would have put him through the same set of assessments, right? He looks so young, but the words of wisdom that he shares with us is so immense value. So thank you, sir. Thank you for throwing light. Now I'm going to move on to an academic institution. This question is to Dr. Sheetal Kumar. Academic institutions have been seeing different trends. Earlier it used to be campus-specific drives where certain recruiters used to come and recruit students from each of the campuses. TCS had certain number of colleges, Infosys. I'm just naming it for naming's sake. It is not to point out any top recruiters. They all used to have pools of colleges through which they used to get their talent. Then the pandemic happened. Pandemic opened a new avenue for the industries to explore, that is online drives, where they could get a large talent pool across the country, appear in an assessment, thereafter choose the talent, put them through online interviews, then recruit the people. For core engineering industry, wherever there were not sufficient number of people in a college, we went in for pulled-in drive with the help of MARTPO, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. We used to request, can you please send your all civil engineering graduates pre-final year to us so that we can put them through this Purvankara drive kind of a thing. Then the corporate said, okay, now we are going to conduct pulled-in drives in this place, send your students to us. The recent trend that has come after the new normal, when the students have come back to campuses but the corporate are not coming because they see plenty of advantages in recruiting students online in terms of travel expenses or their own safety by traveling to hotspots, etc., by avoiding that, which is called a blended drive. How do educational institutions prepare for these kind of challenges? As brought out by our CEO during his speech, that we are upgrading our classrooms. Now, we have already upgraded our interview cubicles, but is it possible for all the academic institutions to take up that kind of a modernization in line with industry expectations? What do you say?
Yes, first of all, let me thank Team GIII3, especially Buddha sir and his team for making all of us come together. So nice arrangements. As far as this question is concerned, yes, dear friends, we know there is certain gap as being highlighted by most of the speakers earlier also. So to overcome the current maybe type of recruitments happening online, offline, so you have to be ready for full campuses as well as individual campuses. And as far as training is concerned, I think we TPOs have to start early. Earlier we used to say that students are 12 pass, let them first become familiar with the engineering environment and then from the second year we'll start. No, now I think we have to start early. Right from the first year, I think we know the process. Exactly what are the steps? Aptitude, programming, GD, technical and PI. So exactly for all these 5 steps, I think we have to start early. English speaking, we don't give much concentration, especially engineering students. So we have to train them right from English speaking. Then aptitude, in first or second year, it should be over. Then for the product type of companies, DSA. In the first year, second semester, I think for CSIT guys, we have to give them DSA also, so that they will be ready early. And for the student community, I would like to request them to go ahead with internships, because practice and practice will make you perfect. As far as services companies are concerned, simple funda is their success mantra, I call it as at least 20 to 25 mock tests within given time limit of 1 hour, 2 mock GDs, 2 mock technical interviews and 2 mock personal interviews. I think that will make you ready, and you have to prepare it right from the first year. So even many senior academicians are here, I will request them. Generally we give around 90-95% of our time to academic preparation. Maybe we are revolving around exam system. I think we have to come out of it. So at least 30-40% weightage of time we have to give for placement preparation also. And for that purpose, please help our TPOs to inculcate those training programs. Don't say that we don't have time, this we are bound by the university curriculum and all that, because otherwise industry do not want only those marks, they said also. Right? So please give us some time so that we can prepare these students accordingly for all these different aspects. And apart from this, dear students, one semester at least one project you have to do, and each semester you do one online courses, whether it is NPTEL or Coursera or any other thing, but that you have to do. And one research papers or 2 research papers in 4 years if you publish. These are simple things. If we follow thoroughly, I think definitely it will help you out. Especially for engineering students, I will say please appear for technical preparation, GATE exam, and for aptitude preparation, CAT exam. And right from first year, second semester, start applying. Thanks to Buddhaji, he has created such a nice portal. If you remember Buddhaji, we were there together with Neetu ma'am and all that team when we discussed. So we were also not sure that these many companies, 71,000 companies you said, it's really commendable job. So utilize it properly, right? Apart from that, intern chala is there, let's intern. There are other things are also there, but you try to utilize those opportunities. And you have to remember that whatever is going on in academic institution is for you. If you understand this and start that kind of putting some efforts, then only it is going to help. Otherwise, we TPOs or academic institutions, we can take the horse to the pond, but the horse has to actually drink the water. So the ball is in your court. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was a mini motivation lecture. In fact, we had this discussion yesterday in our heads of department, heads of institute meeting, which we had in GIII3V9 Bangalore, where the priorities had to be discussed in detail. I'm sure HOD CSE will have some words of wisdom to talk about this. I'm going to take up from where you just left, the need for an academic curriculum and strict implementation of the curriculum for a conventional degree. The relevance of a conventional degree is diminishing over a period of time. As I said earlier, even a 10th student is able to code well and ready to be implemented, ready to be engaged in a project, because he is able to solve problem based on a problem statement given to him. So the corporate is looking at catching them young. So there are corporate which hire 10th students with good academic potential, put them through some project-based learning, put them through a bachelor's and master's program and engage them in projects kind of a thing. So my question to Mr. Parthiban is whether there is a need for an academic degree to secure a career, or is it okay to have necessary skills based on this profile-based hiring to be engaged by a corporate?
Okay. It's actually a tricky question to answer, sir. So in a way it's yes, and in a way it's actually no, right? So when I say yes, I'll again quote another food comparison. Sorry, I know it's already like 12:30, right? So Sarah's actually told that you have to be a flavored rice so that people can actually mold you, right? So you have to be a buffet. You cannot just be a sambar or a rasam. You have to kind of be everywhere, be like a water, right? So there is definitely a competition from the other side of the academics, right? People who organically do homeschooling and then kind of like get into projects, and then there are competitor sites I probably can quote like an intern sala kind of a site where recruiters go and hire people without even having the degree as kind of an eligibility. So it is new to India, but then it's very prevalent, in countries like US. That's called as emerging talent. That's what they named it, right? In fact, like the corporates in India are kind of like having as part of the pillar in their early in career hiring or in talent acquisition, they call it as emerging talent. Right now, the focus in India is more towards diversity, right? So that too in very specific gender diversity. But then this has got kind of like, a old topic in Western nations. That gender diversity was a topic of debate 10 years back. Now there is a lot of other diversity, physically challenged, LGBTQ. So that has become like, a flavor, right? And also on the flip side, right, people are ready to, our corporates are ready to take people without even having a degree. But then the conventional model will not go off in India for sure, because because of the demand and supply of the talent that we have in place. And I still remember AICT has actually sent an email 3 years back saying that they have made 6-month internship mandate. So right now we are focusing on the phase that people from academics or students from colleges have to given a chance to work in a corporate. But then if you ask me honestly, if there is going to be a threat of an emerging talent, yes, that's going to be there probably 10 years down the line. But we have to be prepared for it. Yeah.
Thank you for reinforcing the faith on the conventional degree program. Dear students, please finish off your academic degree in full before you jump into corporate recruitment drives.
With that, I'll probably close this.
Yeah. We are extremely thankful to Mr. Arun Jayendra from Microsoft because he's on his personal trip holidays. When we extended a request to be part of this, he said, yes, I would be there to talk to the student community. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
My question is based on a statement made by our Padma Shri awardee and CEO of our first $1 billion IT product firm, Mr. GIII3V9, who said that our country lacks R&D culture and manufacturing facilities of global tech product firms, because of which the jobs that they are bringing right now will not bring high income jobs for our youngsters. What do you feel, and where our country is heading to? Are we investing in R&D? Do our students get to work on research and development in multinational firms?
So that's an interesting question. About 20 years back, there was hardly any product companies in at least in IT, right? Actually, I was in a company called Talisman, which was one of the first product companies. At that time, most of the software is all about services, right? But things are changing a lot. I think the amount of value you build by creating a product company versus a services company is humongously different. So I think that things are changing. Now there is a lot more people who are coming back to India and saying that, okay, I'm going to actually invest in building a product versus a services. I think there's one portion that goes back is product companies kind of look at engineers differently. They don't care about knowledge. I'm an outlier here, I'm not a recruiting, but when I look for interviews, product companies don't generally look for technologies because they are building a product. What they look for is, what are you bringing to the table? So one of the panelists said here, right, do a few things well rather than many things on a breadth basis. So most of the times when we look for resume, you look for the GPAs and you look for what kind of projects you've done in the internship. But the real test comes when they're the interviews, right? You're really seeing that, okay, if you have said you know something, can you demonstrate that, right? So that's really the important thing. So actually, I would say that make sure that you get your fundamentals right, and make sure that whatever you put in a resume, you're able to stand your feet when the interview comes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for once again telling us that yes, there are opportunities for our students to be part of R&D in the days to come. Of course, as luck would have it, Dr. Vamsidhar, who is heading the Department of Computer Science, is at the end. But whatever we've discussed is related to academics. How the academic departments are going to manage the time between imparting the academic subjects and building the student's resume through all those that have been spoken of: projects, internship, research papers, industry orientation, improving their soft skill, how to draft a leave letter, which we just heard in the last panel discussion, etc. So my question to Dr. Vamsidhar is highly aspirational students and parents on one side, ever-changing IT industry expectations on the other side. With a stringent academic curriculum in hand to be implemented, how will the future pedagogy be? How we are going to teach the students for them to be part of this kind of a panel discussion in the days to come?
Yeah, thank you, Gurumurthy garu. We, the poor teachers, are always will be questioned by all the stakeholders. I mean, the parents, students, management, recruiting partners, everybody blame the teachers. But anyways, beginning from the kindergarten to PG, teacher's role is most important and we can't avoid. Whether it may be before Corona or after Corona, online or hybrid or physical. The pedagogy, the method which the teachers should follow for knowledge sharing, we're calling it as pedagogy. In the past, this way of teaching used to have building the behavioral skills, building the emotional intelligence. Finally, the teaching practices used to focus more on the self-sustaining skills, how we should deliver to the students. That focus from giving self-sustaining skills have been changed to delivering only on technological skills. That's where the big mistake was happened. Coming back, we should roll back our pedagogy and focus more on building the behavioral skills, producing self-sustaining skilled students so that any student can learn any technology. Any student can survive even in the recession. No student need to worry about life is not permanent. Wife is also not permanent. That's going to be common. As soon as the wife shouts, the husband becomes panic. As soon as the manager gives a pink slip, we worry much. So come out of that. We should come out of that. So what I mean to say is, there is no need to sticking with any technology. There is no need to stick with any, syllabus. So very soon, we are all expecting, the teachers, we are all expecting a model which runs on no syllabus, which runs on no assessments, which runs on no marks. Just imagine the students, the parents or the stakeholders. There will be a model very soon which runs on no syllabus, no exams, no marks, no attendance, no detentions, no Moodle. What I mean to say is, technologies keep on changing, the demand from the industry keeps on changing. Likewise, the things which we are learning also will keep on changing, but the pedagogy also keeps on changing. But the basic elements in the pedagogy will remain same: building the behavioral, improving the emotional intelligence, and delivering the students with self-sustaining skills. That itself is more essential. So 60% should go with this and 40% should go with the changing technologies. This is what I feel personally.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With that, we come to the end of this panel discussion. The key takeaways for the student community is that you should focus on your fundamentals. The first thing that is going to be tested is your knowledge and fundamentals. How strong are you? Second is your willingness to learn new technologies. When you come to your advanced semesters, please focus on latest technologies. Choose one technology. Don't choose as many as possible. Choose one or few technologies in which you can specialize. Thereafter, add value to your resume through all the programs that have been listed out. Whether it can be internships, it can be research papers, it can be industry attachments, or working on a consultancy project along with your faculty. All this will be enabled for you to be in this kind of a position in the days to come. It's my responsibility to thank Dr. Vamsidhar, Head of Department Computer Science Engineering, Dr. Sheetal Kumar, Ma TPO, Mr. Karthik, Mr. Arun Jayendra, Mr. Samuel Benjamin, and Mr. Parthiban. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for bringing in the required clarity and helping us to understand our career choice.